being single doesn't have to
suck. It doesn't have to suck.
That's what we're talking about. Being single doesn't have to suck.
So tune in to find out why being single doesn't have to suck.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alana Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alana, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now.
It's episode 11.
It's episode 11.
This is funny. Can I say
funny.
that?
No, do not
okay,
say
I gotta say
Guys, Alana's...
So we're talking about how being single doesn't suck, but I think this is wicked funny. So
you can't even say the joke because you're like so happy at yourself with it.
I know.
I'm gonna ruin it for you. So she said...
No, don't ruin it. Okay, so I was like, oh, and it's episode 11, and two ones next to each other look like a couple, and we're talking about how being single doesn't have to suck.
We got to get a studio camera because I'm just like, my face right now is just, it's oh my goodness. Yes, so we're talking about how being single doesn't have to suck. And I think it's hit home for us because we are mentoring, talking to a lot of people. A lot of our people are in different seasons of our lives, even though a lot of our friends are now, most of them are married and have kids and all this stuff. But we do have some friends who are single. And there are plenty of people out there that are single. But I think the biggest thing that got to me about this story is that something I share with my football players. It's a good story. My football players. I tell them this, and they usually resist it. But the question I ask them that I think I truly stumped them because I haven't read the Bible. But I'm like, hey, when did Adam get Eve? And they're like, I don't know, Mizell. You tell me.
Usually they say Genesis.
They say Genesis.
That's like their response. Which isn't wrong.
It's in the name of that book. But no, I said, when did Adam get Eve? He's like, I don't know. And I tell them, Adam got Eve after he cultivated the garden.
So, Adam was alone.
Adam was alone. But Adam was alone, and he was okay with being alone.
He was okay with... He also didn't know any better.
You know, theoretically, if you want to dive in deep, he didn't know anything else. It's true.
But Adam was alone.
Adam didn't have Instagram to look at and see other things out there.
Right. So maybe you shouldn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I mean, that's another topic for another day.
We won't go into that.
But Adam was alone, and I think that when you look at it, how much of yourself are you finding in your alone time?
Yes, because I think that's a great point, because also you flip it, there's so many people who are in relationships that are alone because they haven't had that time of actually knowing who they are. And when you are, quote unquote, single, you get so caught up with maybe going to the next thing and doing something and impressing something and I don't know, dating, whatever you're doing, you don't embrace the time to be alone. Like with this whole story with Adam, I can just kind of visualize he's just out working. He's literally working every single day on the garden himself, and he's not looking at you. He's like, oh, he had the distractions we have nowadays. But again, the distractions only distract you when you let them. And so you have to choose to spend this time and embrace being single, and embrace being alone.
Right. And I think one thing that I ask my girls or people that reach out on Instagram, I ask them all the time, what gives you peace?
Yeah. And
what I've found is that there are so many people that don't know what innately give them peace. And by peace, I mean like you feel refueled, you feel rejuvenated, you feel namaste. I'm not a yogi, but so for me, it's going for a walk. For me, a lot of times it's baking, although I don't really want to eat it. You know, those type things. But if you don't know what puts you at peace, then have you been alone with yourself long enough to love the one that you are going to be stuck with for the rest of your life?
Because so many times people say, when they get out of relationships, the thing happens like, I've lost myself. I don't know who I am anymore. And you kind of think to yourself, did you know who you were before you stepped into it?
Right.
And a lot of times you don't know who you are when you step into it, but there's so much inner peace that you can truly find when you are alone, because I mean, just the sheer value of you ain't got nobody else to worry about.
Right.
It's like you.
And I feel like it's a little side note, but like, there's so many times also that people are like, oh, well, now it's the third date, so I don't have to worry about this, or this. Well, if you were truly yourself and knew who you were, then why are you putting on a different personification for a person that you're hoping to spend the rest of your life with?
Yeah, and that's the thing also, because you have to see it from a standpoint. You have to know who you are, and I'll be the first to tell you that in my 20 plus years of singleness, trying to date, I didn't know who I was. And it was something that I truly struggled with, the frustration level of, why am I not getting this? All my friends are having this. And at the end of the day, I had to embrace my season of not loneliness, my season of being alone, to find who I was, to order to bring any value to the young lady that I was going to meet one day. And
that's me.
Yeah, it's Alana. To bring value, because if she would have met me years before, I wouldn't bring in no value to her. That's why I try to stress to my players. It's the fact of like, what value are you bringing your significant other? Besides a little bit of alone time, besides a good conversation, and a lot of times it ain't good conversation, like what value are you bringing?
They're not conversating at all.
They're Netflixing and chilling. Is that still a thing?
That's a thing.
It's still a thing? It is like, what do you call it? Cuffing season right now?
I don't even know.
It's called cuffing season.
Because it's winter?
Because it's winter, so you cuff.
I can't. We're not going to go there.
But how about this? Do you think people feel pressure to cuff or pressure to be with someone?
Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. We have two friends that have canceled their engagements.
They're your friends. They're not my friends.
Okay, whatever.
I'm blanking on who they are, but I think...
No, we have three. I'll tell you after, because I'm not going to out their names right now.
Okay.
Two of which I will tell you have found themselves more so from canceling their engagement that they thought the world wanted them to have.
Ooh,
notice that I said the world wanted them to have. So both of which were at an age where everybody was getting married. That's what you do next, and da-da-da. And I will tell you that I think they were playing musical chairs and the music ran out. And both of them finally got to a point where their engagements were canceled. The other one, she will get there. I know she will get there. To where she realizes her engagement was canceled so that she could find herself. So then the person that she is meant to be with is actually worthy of who she authentically is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. In all of those relationships, the other person isn't a bad human being. Most times, they're not a bad human being, but they're not who you're supposed to be with because you're not working in your season of solidarity.
Yes, you have to put in work.
Work.
No, not that kind of work.
Sorry.
You have to work in your season of solidarity.
Every time.
Because again, if you're not constantly moving your feet in this season, you're going to become stuck. You're going to just be stuck in singleness forever, I guess you could say. But work on yourself. Do things that you couldn't do if you were in a relationship. Do things that you know that you need to personally work on.
Also, what if the plan for your life is for you to live in New York, but you're too busy stuck in Memphis because of somebody that you were dating? You never got to New York to find the person you were meant to be with.
Because you weren't working. And you
weren't working. You were so inundated with what the world wanted you to do and the music stopping that you weren't working on yourself and you missed the opportunity.
Because right now, this world we live in is screaming at you to use all the resources you have around you to work on whatever it is in this season of singleness. And it's okay to embrace it. And that's when I and Alana Alana really wasn't single.
And I will tell you this. I feel like I've had to find more of myself since we've gotten married. And I'm blessed to have a husband who wants me to do that.
That's true.
That could have been a massive challenge.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that
Do you feel like you didn't work on yourself long enough while you were single?
100%.
Ooh.
There are relationships that I had before you that I didn't need to have. And I was too busy with how the world saw me that I didn't reflect on who Alana was.
So you feel like you were being somebody else, or you weren't gaining any value in that relationship?
I was so focused on perfection from a worldly view that I missed the perfection of finding myself.
And not everybody has that chance to do that in a relationship.
Right.
That's true.
And now I'm backtracking with my therapist,
Yeah.
trying to uncover and trying to heal. But there are so many marriages that could not withstand the turmoil of healing from past pain.
Yeah. And that's why when you're in this season of solidarity, you have to. That's it.
It's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister. But you also can take the time to reflect. Like we keep the overall theme of the Mizell show is having tough conversations, but don't be afraid to have a tough conversation with one of your good friends about maybe a past relationship or something that they might have saw, but they didn't want to tell you in a season because they thought you were so happy.
And let me tell you, if one of your close friends, we'll talk about levels 1, 2, and 3. You've heard us talk about it. It'll be another podcast. It'll be a long one.
Yeah, another podcast.
That'll be another one. But if one of your very close friends or your parents who you actually respect their opinion tell you that a person is not right for you, take the hint. Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alana Mizell on Instagram or alanamizell.com to learn more. Take the hint. They're not right for you.
Take the hint in the beginning and actually be able to be okay with taking the hit. But again, people are so afraid of being single a lot of times, and they're afraid of walking away because a lot of times they're afraid to know who they really are. They're afraid to say, this is who I am and this is the season that I'm in, and I need to work on certain aspects of my life so I can actually bring value. I knew I was not bringing any value to Alana the 5 years before we met when I was like thirsty and trying to slide in every girl's DMs and they never responded, and I would get so frustrated. But I was like, I need to find who I am. And at that time in my life, I did not know who I was.
Well, and people get so frustrated saying that they don't want to be lonely, but let me tell you what's going to happen. If you don't have peace with yourself, the one person that will never leave you, you will find yourself yet again alone.
Yes. Because there are people that are
alone.
Alone.
And you know what, guys? It's hard.
It's very hard. But again, it goes back to our story that Adam was alone. He didn't know any better. All he did was work and cultivate the garden and put in the work. And then, not only after he had cultivated the garden and blossomed and all that, then he was presented with Eve. But I think the tricky thing that people don't talk about in this story is Eve came from his rib, right?
Yeah.
Came from his rib.
You asked me like you were unsure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. She came from an unlikely place.
Unlikely place. And so love could be there somewhere for you in an unlikely place, but are you going to do the first two steps?
But there's also so much beautiful imagery in that. We're not about to go to
we go to church?
Church. We're going to go to church.
Go to church. What do you,
the fact that Eve came from Adam's side states that a female should not be behind, but from your side. So she must be equally yoked. Worked on herself. Females, that means that your Adam must have worked on themselves.
And also, speaking of that, with her being by your side, it also means she is working with you and she's putting in work. She's not behind you, as in like not pulling her own weight. She is right next to you. So many, again, keep it in the conversation I have with my guys, like, they always are afraid to ask the girl, like, what is she working on? Like, you getting a degree or you got a job? I'm like, you have to ask those questions. Like, you want them to be hustling right next to you and not just be doing nothing.
What if her dream becomes your dream?
Facts. Yeah.
What if, there are so many times in our marriage that, okay, originally I wanted to go to New York and work in weddings. Am I doing that now? Nope. You know, your dream originally was to what, be in admissions? We didn't know.
No, original dream was to be an ESPN broadcaster. Like living
Okay,
in
well,
New York.
this is as close as you're going to get, brother.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, my dream was also like to like, you know, the whole internship in New York and all that stuff, you know?
But so if we didn't articulate our dreams to each other, would we have been able to get to where we are now?
That's
The answer is no.
the answer is no. Yeah, 100% no.
No. And, okay, let's talk about this. Look at LeBron James and his wife.
Oh, don't get me started on LeBron James.
I love me some LeBron James.
Alana loves LeBron, and that's why we're not gonna get off top. I'm gonna say it right now. LeBron James is my GOAT. Like, he's better than Kobe. He's better than he's better than Kobe. He's better than Michael Jordan. No, because when I say GOAT, I mean the entire package, on and off the field.
I agree.
And with LeBron, again, I don't know LeBron personally, but like I read about him, I don't think he has any like
He does
mishaps.
You'd know.
You would know.
You'd know.
But he's been with, what's her name?
I don't know her name.
Savannah?
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up. You go, keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've been together since high school.
High school.
But let me tell
the
you,
boy was on the cover of ESPN magazine at 16, and she was with him.
But let me tell you this about them.
Yeah.
Okay, that defeats the purpose of staying single. But
No.
but
Oh my goodness.
but they articulated to each other what their goals and their dreams were, and guess what she's doing? She came alongside him out of his rib to work alongside him as he's doing basketball and doing philanthropic efforts. They both fundamentally believe in the platform of basketball being the tapestry that they're trying to weave to be able to grow these urban environments. And he even has a book, and it's good.
He's a book, he's a school,
book.
and that's the thing about it. Like, and her name is Savannah, by the way. But
like,
the whole thing of this.
but had she not voiced what her goals were alongside him, he could not achieve his goals. That's the point.
Yeah, again, because if she just wanted to go along for the ride and just be there and not be by his side, who knows?
He wouldn't be as near successful as he is.
I don't think it would be. He wouldn't be as successful. But the fact of the matter is, yes, we are now talking about a very successful power couple. But we're going back to the fact that
We are, but they didn't have to be.
they have to be.
The reason that we're talking about him, yes, he's athletically sound. There's plenty of athletic people. But it's because he put in the work. Yeah, he started when he was much younger.
He did.
Brother's been putting in the work.
Yeah.
And still puts in the work.
Yeah.
He didn't stop. But the reason that we're talking about them isn't because he's one of the best athletes ever, but it's because he knew who he was, she knew who she was, and they put in the work together alongside each other.
And even kind of going back into it. So the whole thing about the rib and love coming from an unlikely spot. In his situation, love was probably not found at the age of 16, and now they've been together all this time.
Right.
How many guys make it and then they don't work out or they end up breaking up, girls or guys? But again, it came from another kind of quote unquote unlikely spot.
Yeah.
And so we say all this to help you see that.
Well, and is it likely for a girl from New Hampshire to move to Memphis, to go to undergrad, and then meet her now husband at a fundraiser?
No.
That's an unlikely spot.
It's very unlikely. And I think our story is very unlikely now that you kind of say that.
In which is in our intro, the abnormal. But had I not known at least a part of myself to know I could go halfway across the country and know one person when I arrived, my unlikely spot of love would have never happened.
Yeah.
And although, yes, should I have been working on myself individually a little bit more? For sure. But it's not that I wasn't working. I was working. I was the president of my sorority. I was an orientation guide. I was a frosh camp counselor. Like, the laundry list of things. I had an internship when Steven and I met. Like, I was moving my feet.
Yeah.
And so was Steven. Steven had to move his feet to get back to Memphis. Yep. Because if he was just too busy trying to find a boo in Murfreesboro,
oh gosh,
then you would have never come back.
I would never come back.
If you had settled where the music stopped.
Yep.
you would have never found your unlikely place.
So I'm sure I could have settled in Murfreesboro if I wanted to.
You sure could
I
have.
sure could have.
It
But
was comfortable to settle in Murfreesboro.
Yeah. But I was pushed to come back, and I found love in a very unlikely spot. But I think it goes back to...
In the UC ballroom.
Oh, my gosh. Tell them all the goodies now. But what we're saying from the top, though, is that it is okay in this season of your life to be single.
Yes.
And if you are single, it's okay. Adam was alone. We told the story of Adam cultivating the garden by himself. And then put in work.
Put it in.
Put the work in. Work on yourself.
In your season of solidarity, put in work.
Because at some point you will look back. You could be married for 45 years and have 5 kids and grandkids. You look back and be like, I had so much time to find who I was, to embrace those years of marriage, those years of kids, because you actually did what you're supposed to do and worked in your season of solidarity.
And how many times do you hear about 2 people becoming empty nesters and looking at each other and not knowing who they are?
No, quarantine has caused some people to look at each other and be like, who are you?
No, that's serious.
That's true. That's another episode.
That is serious.
But seriously though, we tell you...
because they have to communicate.
They have to communicate.
And now I know, ooh, that's what you do at work. Nothing.
Who?
Just like in quarantine.
I was doing me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No,
you know
I know
what I
what
do
you
at
do.
work.
I know
Oh, yeah. Go.
I was
like,
talking
hold on.
about the hypothetical.
But you didn't give me the hypothetical.
Our marriage isn't
definitely...
crumbling because of quarantine. Ours is flourishing because of quarantine.
Yeah, it definitely took another step. Again, and then last but not least, love comes from unlikely places. Like God brought Eve from Adam's rib cage.
Yeah.
And it's so much, like Lana said, beauty in that story and the rib and coming from the side. And that also is something that, you never would expect Eve to come from that. So we wanted to say, you guys, it's okay to be single. Brace the singleness.
And being single doesn't have to stink.
Doesn't stink. That's your sign off. Doesn't it stink?
Versus suck.
But we already said that, though. I mean, you said like 15 times at the beginning of the episode. Again, guys, to wrap this up, because Alana is on one. She started with the whole episode 11 and 1 being single.
Yeah.
Again.
I forgot about that already.
Okay, Adam was alone, and he was okay being alone. He worked in his season of solidarity, and Eve, his love, when he finally found it, came from a very unlikely spot. So if you are single and listening to this, embrace it. It's okay. It doesn't have to suck. This is the Mizell Show.
If you guys are liking this, 11, episode 11.
This is episode 11.
Episode 11. If you are loving the Mizell Show, hop over to our Instagram at the Mizell Show. Follow us over there. Leave us a review, please. Reviews are free love. They are free love. So if you love something, go leave it a review. That's how I feel. And you can always go over to our website. It's just themizellshow.com. Are you loving the Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram @themizellshow.